WrestleMania is more than just a wrestling event. It's where legends are made and dreams are realized. And this year's event was no different. But one match in particular stood out, a triple-threat showdown between Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Gunther for the WWE Universal Championship. This wasn't your average match. No, sir. This match was a collision of titans, a battle of ideologies, and most importantly, a clash of egos. Now, you might be thinking, what makes this match so special? Well, let me tell you, this match wasn't just thrown together. It was built on years of betrayal, dominance, and unfinished business. Let's start with Roman Reigns, the reigning, undisputed WWE Universal Champion. For over 3 years, Roman ruled WWE with an iron fist. Nobody could touch him. He walked into WrestleMania as the champion, the head of the table, the leader who believed every superstar should acknowledge him. But whispers had started. Was his era finally cracking? Some say the recent loss of his father, the legendary Rikishi, had shaken him. Others said the return of Cody Rhodes, who left WWE 7 years ago to fulfill his own destiny, had stirred up old ambitions in Roman. Whatever the reason, there were cracks in the armor, and those cracks were about to widen. Enter CM Punk. After a decade away, Punk shocked the world when he returned to WWE. His mission, to prove that he was still the best in the world. Now, you might not remember this, but back in the early 2010s, CM Punk was the voice of a generation of wrestling fans. He was the anti-hero who spoke his mind and was unafraid to mix it up with the higher-ups. Fans who once hijacked shows with CM Punk chants finally saw their hero back, and nothing was more personal than Punk gunning for Roman's throne. But we're not done with the players yet. Let's talk about Seth Rollins, once Roman's brother in the Shield, now his fiercest rival. Rollins had carried WWE on his back as world champion and was tired of being overshadowed by Roman's dominance. For him, WrestleMania wasn't just about winning gold. It was about proving he was the true face of WWE. So when these 3 worlds collided, it wasn't just a fight for a championship. It was a fight for respect, revenge, and ultimate recognition. As the bell rang, a hush fell over the crowd. This wasn't just a match. It was a statement. Each man had something to prove, each step closer to the title. They were treading on each other's dreams. And then it happened. A spear, a pedigree, and a GTS later, CM Punk stood tall as the new WWE Universal Champion. The crowd erupted. It was a moment of pure electricity. Punk had done it. He was back on top. But in the sea of jubilation, there was a tinge of sadness. Roman, who had never tapped out, had been defeated in front of his home crowd. The weight of the moment was heavy. You could see the shock, the disbelief, and the dawning realization in his eyes. It was a rare glimpse of vulnerability from the man who had personified dominance for so long. Now, why is this match so important? Because it shook the very foundation of WWE. It was a passing of the torch, a new beginning. Roman's era may have seemed invincible, but it ended not with a bang, but with a GTS. And who better to end it than CM Punk, the voice of the people, the best in the world? As for Seth Rollins, he may have come up short in the championship battle, but he proved that he belongs in the main event. He's the workhorse of WWE, the man who always delivers. And I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of him in the title picture. In the end, WrestleMania wasn't just a show. It was a testament to the power of storytelling, the magic of professional wrestling. And if you were there in the audience or watching at home, I know one thing. You wouldn't trade that moment for the world. Now, do you agree with my analysis? Was this match the best of WrestleMania? Or do you have a different opinion? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for all the latest in wrestling news. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you next time. The bell rang, and the action was instant chaos. Roman went straight for Punk, trying to bully him into the corner. But Seth struck like lightning, diving in with strikes and chops. Within minutes, the match spilled outside. Roman hurled Punk into the steel steps with a thunderous crash. Seth launched himself over the top rope with a suicide dive that sent both men flying. Punk, the cagey veteran, grabbed a chair and lit up Roman's back, sending the crowd into a frenzy. Inside the ring, the near falls came rapid fire. Punk almost stole it with a GTS on Rollins. Roman nearly ended it with a Superman punch, followed by a spear. Seth hit a breathtaking Falcon Arrow on Roman, only for Punk to break the pin at the very last second. Every move felt like the end. Every kick-out sent shockwaves through the crowd. It wasn't just wrestling, it was survival. But the story of this night didn't end there. As Roman and Seth grappled on the steel steps outside the ring, Punk seized his moment. He climbed the turnbuckle and launched a flying elbow that connected with the sickening thud of bone on bone. The impact sent shockwaves through the arena. Even the commentators were stunned into silence. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then the ref began to count. 1, 2, 3. The crowd roared, but it wasn't over. Roman kicked out at the last possible second. The near fall left both men dazed. Seth and Roman, momentarily stunned, looked at Punk with a mixture of disbelief and fury. The beatdown began immediately. They pummeled Punk with relentless strikes, each punch and kick echoing with vengeance. But Punk, though battered, was unyielding. He fired back with a flurry of punches, surprising the muscle with his tenacity. Despite being outnumbered, he managed to dodge a double-team maneuver, sending both challengers sprawling. This brief respite allowed Punk to regroup, albeit briefly. The onslaught continued with Seth and Roman taking turns to wear down their opponent. Yet Punk, much like a cornered animal, kept coming forward, refusing to stay down. Each time they thought they had him, he delivered a vicious bite or a knee to the groin, reminding them that he wouldn't go down easily. The numbers' disadvantage became too much. Despite his valiant efforts, Punk found himself trapped in a relentless cycle of pain and punishment. Seth and Roman, driven by their shared desire for retribution, continued their assault until the referee intervened, stopping the attack but not the agony. As the match resumed, it was clear that Punk was a shadow of his former self. His movements were sluggish, his vision blurred, and his body screamed in protest with every move. The finish was inevitable. In a devastating display of teamwork, Seth and Roman executed a synchronized move, a brutal combination of power and precision that left Punk utterly helpless. The crowd watched in suspense as the pin was made. The referee began his count, 1, 2, 3. There was no miracle this time. In the aftermath, the victors stood tall, their chests heaving as they surveyed the scene. Their aggression had paid off, but their triumph was short-lived. As the celebrations began, the eerie silence from earlier returned, amplifying the cheers of the crowd. Suddenly, all eyes were on the entrance as a new figure emerged. The music swelled, signaling the arrival of another contender. And with that, the night's drama took yet another turn. And now here's the thing, brothers and sisters. Just when you thought the story was over, it takes another twist. Because in the world of professional wrestling, there's always another chapter waiting to be written. Who will step up next? How will the fallout of this triple threat match play out? Will there be a rematch? All these questions and more are left unanswered, hanging in the balance like a cliffhanger in a thrilling movie. Keep watching because the story doesn't end here. It's just getting started. The Bloodline Civil War Trilogy, Chapter 3, The Last Chapter. This match was personal. It was brutal. It was everything the previous two chapters were not. And in the end, it gave us one of the greatest WrestleMania moments ever. Here's how it all went down. The action starts off slow with some technical wrestling and storytelling. Seth and Roman trade control. We get a lot of one-on-one action between these two former Shield brothers. There's no shenanigans. There's no interference. These two are focused on beating each other's brains in. Things start to pick up when the Usos get involved, but not in the way you might think. Instead of helping Roman, they end up taking out their own cousin by mistake. This causes a disqualification. Jimmy and Jay argue with Roman after the match, and this is when Solo Sikoa finally arrives. He lays out a challenge to the Usos, telling them that if they can beat him and take the tag titles, he'll leave the bloodline for good. The Usos accept, and so we get our first ever main roster tag team match between the Usos and the Enforcers. As for Roman, he's furious with everybody. He's furious at the Usos. He's furious at Solo. And most importantly, he's furious with Sami Zayn. In fact, he says that if Sami doesn't apologize for what he did last week, he's going to fire him on the spot. Sami does come to the ring to try and talk to Roman, but The Rock stops him. Rock tells Sami that the only apology he's going to get from Roman is in the form of a beat down. So Rock challenges Roman to a one-on-one match right here, right now. This does not happen often. A Rock challenge issued, a Rock challenge accepted. Now we get a match that we never thought we'd see at this point in their careers, two part-timers colliding in a dream match. The story of this match is pretty straightforward. Rock has the experience advantage early on, but Roman eventually dominates with his power advantage. Back and forth they go until the finish. Rock hits the people's elbow, but instead of going for the pin, he taunts Roman. This allows Roman to kick out, and then he hits the Superman punch. That was it. The tribal chief got the victory. After the match, Rock offers a handshake to Roman, but Roman just walks away. He's not interested in making nice. He's too busy being angry at Sami. Speaking of Sami, he's backstage with Kevin Owens as they watch the Usos defend the tag titles against Solo. The Usos win the match, which means that Solo is officially leaving the bloodline. As KO and Sami celebrate, they're jumped by none other than the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Damian Priest laid them out, but not before Sami got a shot in on Priest. That may have cost them the match, but it made Priest tap out to the KO. Just like that, the Judgment Day was sent packing. Back in the main event, Seth and Roman are going at it. They destroy each other with repeated concussions. Both men are busted open. This match has now officially gone into overdrive. With both men exhausted, they start to exchange finishers. First, Seth hits the curb stomp, but Roman kicks out. Next, Roman spears Seth through the barricade. They're both down. The ref starts to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At this point, the match should be over, but somehow both men get back to their feet. Punk sees his opportunity. He grabs Roman by the hair and drags him back into the ring. He immediately locks in the Anaconda Vice. Roman screams in agony. The crowd is going bonkers. Could this be it? Is Roman about to tap? Unfortunately for CM Punk, it doesn't happen because music interrupts. Music that can only mean one thing. Here comes the cavalry. Seth Rollins flies in out of nowhere and hits a frog splash on Punk. The hold is broken and all three men collapse in exhaustion. The ref starts to make the double count. 1, 2, 3. All three are down. Who's going to take this one? It doesn't matter because here comes the finishing sequence. Seth rolls up Punk and hits the stomp. That should do it, but out of nowhere, Punk kicks out. What? How? Well, that didn't work, so Punk goes for the GTS. This time it connects and he covers. 1, 2, wait, hold on. Roman pulls the trigger on a Superman punch and then he covers. 1, 2, 3. The stadium explodes. Roman Reigns retains the title in the most exciting match of the night. And that's gonna do it for our coverage of Night 2. Don't forget to tune in next week for our special episode breaking down the entire event. Plus, stay tuned for more news and results. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. The bell rings, signaling the end of the most brutal WrestleMania match in history. 3 men lay strewn across the canvas, each a testament to the war that just unfolded inside the squared circle. But only 2 can claim victory. 1 will walk out as the winner and leave with the championship. The other 2, left to grapple with defeat and the demons that come with it. As the crowd roars, the injured men slowly begin to stir. First to his feet is Punk, clutching his ribs. The crowd erupts into a frenzy, the chorus of CM Punk echoing through the stadium. But Punk's celebration is cut short by the piercing boos that follow close behind. He looks up, confused, as the crowd's adoration turns to derision. Roman has risen, and the crowd immediately rallies behind their beloved champion. The sight of Roman standing tall, championship in hand, sends a wave of adulation rippling through the audience. The boos and cheers blend together into one deafening storm. Love him or hate him, Roman has proven why he is the most dominant champion of this generation. Meanwhile, Punk rolls out of the ring, beaten but not broken. His comeback wasn't just a nostalgia trip. He showed the world that even after all these years he could still deliver at the very top level. But tonight, it wasn't enough. As he exits, the crowd's chants shift, morphing from admiration to disappointment. The CM Punk anthem becomes a somber dirge. It's clear that despite the valiant effort, Punk falls short in the end. His journey in this match might be over, but his impact on this night, on this event, will be remembered for years to come. In the ring, Roman, now the sole focus of the crowd's attention, raises his championship high above his head. The crowd roars its approval, their cheers shaking the very foundations of the stadium. This moment, this victory, is his. But as the celebrations reach their peak, a figure emerges from the shadows. A figure who has something to say. It's Seth Rollins, his face a mask of fury, his eyes blazing with a fire that threatens to consume him. With every step he takes toward the ring, the crowd's cheers die down a little, replaced by a nervous murmur. They know what comes next. The post-match ritual that never fails to ignite the crowd. Rollins reaches the ring and stares at Roman, his nemesis, his rival, the man who has once again snatched away his moment. The history between these two, the years of betrayals, the countless battles, it all comes to a head in this one, single moment. The crowd, sensing the intensity, the palpable tension, begins to cheer once more, egging them on, wanting more. But for Rollins there is no glory in this shared spotlight. All he feels is the burning desire for retribution, the need to make Roman pay for what he has done. As he continues to stare, the crowd's cheers turn to boos. They understand Rollins' pain, his agony, and they don't want to see Roman win like this. The show might be over for the WWE Universe, but for Roman and Rollins, it's just begun. The stage is set for the next chapter in their saga, a saga filled with betrayal, revenge, and an unbreakable bond that transcends mere rivalry. The question is, who will come out on top? Suddenly, the familiar tune hits, signaling the return of the legend. The crowd, already buzzing with excitement, erupts into a frenzy, their cheers shaking the very core of the stadium. He strides to the ring, his presence commanding respect and admiration. But his eyes, they tell a different story, a story of pain, of loss, and a deep, burning rage. He's here to confront Roman, to hold him accountable for the events that transpired moments ago. The echoes of the previous match still ringing in his ears. The two legends lock eyes. It's a moment pregnant with tension, a clash of wills that neither man backs down from. The crowd, sensing the gravity of the moment, falls silent. All eyes are on these two titans as they circle each other, sizing up their opponent. The air is thick with anticipation. The crowd, stunned into silence, watches as the two icons prepare for action. It's a standoff that seems to stretch into eternity before finally breaking. The first move is made. The match isn't over yet. There's more to be settled, more pain to be inflicted. The crowd roars back to life, their cheers echoing the ferocity of the fight that's just begun. And so the story of WrestleMania 41, the tale of betrayal, resilience, and unyielding determination, continues. In the heart of the WWE Universe, the drama unfolds, captivating the audience, keeping them on the edge of their seats. For this isn't just a match, it's a battle of egos, a war of attrition, and a testament to the indomitable spirit of these extraordinary athletes. As the night deepens, the stakes rise. Who will claim the ultimate victory? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, this night will be etched in the annals of WWE history forever. On April 2003, the world stopped for wrestling. Packed inside the Sky Dome in Toronto were more than 68,000 screaming fans, many of them having waited years to see their favorite superstars live. Outside, millions more tuned in, captivated by the spectacle about to unfold. For this wasn't just a Monday Night Raw, it was the night after WrestleMania, the night known as Raw is War. And tonight, the main event was going to be a triple threat match between three men who would change the course of wrestling history. The first, The Rock, electrifying, charismatic, had returned to WWE 7 months prior to a hero's welcome and had quickly inserted himself into the title picture. The second, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the middle finger raised high, a beer in his hand, the anti-hero who had captured the imagination of millions and made WWE a must-watch TV product. And finally, the third man, the champion, Hulk Hogan, the immortal one, larger than life, synonymous with wrestling, a true icon. As the Titantron blared Hulk's entrance theme, the crowd erupted, a mixture of cheers and jeers. This was a man who had embodied the face of wrestling for 2 decades, but times were changing, and the new guard was ready to take the reins. As Stone Cold's glass shattered, the familiar "I'm stupid" chant rang out and the place went wild. But it was The Rock's entrance that truly stole the show. Blaring from the speakers was not the usual "If you smell what The Rock is cooking," but a remix of the NWO's To the Max. Dressed in a black shirt with a red NWO logo, The Rock strutted to the ring, not as the people's champ, but as a changed man, a villain. The bell rings and the match begins. Immediately, The Rock and Stone Cold find themselves in a standoff. Both men sizing each other up, a clash of styles, a battle of wills. The Rock, agile and explosive, counters every move with a sneer and a trash talk. Stone Cold, the blue-collar brawler, answers back with fists and foot stomps. The crowd is on its feet, their voices hoarse from chanting throughout the night. Every near fall, every kick, every punch is met with an eruption of sound. The energy inside the stadium is palpable. It's electric. But amidst the chaos, a new threat emerges. Hulk Hogan, the immortal, the legend. He's been lurking on the outside, waiting for his moment. And when he gets it, he delivers a devastating clothesline to The Rock, sending him crashing to the mat. With a mix of old-school power moves and innovative offense, Hogan dominates. He slams The Rock to the ground, picks him up, and delivers a thunderous leg drop. The crowd goes wild, but The Rock, ever resilient, kicks out at 2. The match continues, each superstar giving it their all. But it's The Rock, the cunning one, who delivers the final blow. After a back and forth, he manages to lock in the sharpshooter, a move made famous by his father-in-law, the legendary Bret Hart. Hulk Hogan taps out, submitting to The Rock's relentless assault. As the seconds ticked by, The Rock stood tall, the new WWE champion, the heir to the throne. In that moment, he had cemented his place in wrestling history. The torch had officially been passed, but the era of The Rock had just begun. Now, almost 2 decades later, a new chapter is set to unfold at WrestleMania 41, a main event for the ages. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, faces off against the returning CM Punk, the voice of the voiceless, with Seth Rollins, the architect, the visionary, thrown into the mix. Like The Rock all those years ago, Roman has seamlessly transitioned into the role of a bad guy. And, like Stone Cold, CM Punk is the underdog, the anti-hero returning to save the day. With Seth Rollins, well, he's the wild card, the unpredictable X-factor that can swing the match either way. As the fireworks light up the night sky, the chants of CM Punk and Beast in the Bank echoing through the stadium, we are reminded of that night in 2003 when wrestling took over the world. And in that moment, standing in the ring, these 3 men will make sure that the impossible becomes possible again. They will give us a night that we will tell our grandchildren about. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, because tonight anything can happen. And in the world of professional wrestling, that's what makes it so damn exciting. When the dust settled, WrestleMania 41's Triple Threat wasn't just a match. It was a statement. For Roman Reigns, it proved once again why he's one of the most dominant champions in WWE history. Love him or hate him, he delivered on the grandest stage of them all. For CM Punk, it was a reminder of his resilience. Even after years away, he showed the world that he could still hang with the very best, nearly stealing the match in the process. His return wasn't just nostalgia. It was about proving his legacy is real. For Seth Rollins, it was heartbreak and fire. He came close, but Roman once again shut the door. Still, Seth left the match proving he remains one of the greatest performers in the industry. And for the fans, it was magic. The kind of match that reminds us why we love WrestleMania. 3 warriors, 1 championship, and memories that will last forever. Now, if you're a wrestling historian, you'll know that the 3-way dance goes way back. It was a staple of the territories, a way to showcase multiple talents without a clear-cut winner. But it wasn't until WWE's grandest stage that it truly became legendary. I'm talking, of course, about the first WrestleMania. What started as a tag team turmoil soon became a triple threat when Hulk Hogan, the first ever WWE champion, found himself in a 2-on-1. With a little help from Mr. T, he managed to hold off the onslaught of the Islanders. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. This wasn't about technical wrestling. It was about entertainment. And boy, did they deliver. Fast forward to WrestleMania 6 and you had another showdown between Hulk Hogan and the Islanders. But this time, it was personal. Hogan was defending his WWE Championship against the likes of Andre the Giant and a mystery partner. Who could it be? Enter the Big Boss Man. This wasn't your average bodyguard. He was there to do one thing, take out Hogan. In the end, though, Hogan prevailed, proving once again that in the WWE, anything can happen. WrestleMania 9 saw a clash of styles. The Undertaker, the master of the macabre, was taking on the high-flying Rey Mysterio and the powerhouse Psycho Sid. It was a battle between old school and new age, between tradition and innovation. And in the end, it was the old guard that stood tall. The dead man's gong echoed through the arena, reminding everyone that he was the boss. But it was at WrestleMania 17 that we saw a true passing of the torch. The Rock, one of the biggest stars in WWE history, was hanging up his wrestling boots. Or so we thought. He had one last match in him, a triple threat against Stone Cold Steve Austin and newcomer Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Talk about a star-studded showdown. In the end, it was The Rock who took the pin, cementing Austin's place in WWE lore. But let's be real, it was all about the spectacle. From there, the triple threat became a regular feature at WrestleManias. Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho versus Triple H, Edge versus Mick Foley versus Undertaker, John Cena versus JBL versus The Big Show. These weren't just matches. They were wars, battles between titans where every man wanted to prove he was the best. But it was at WrestleMania 38 that we saw a different kind of war, a clash of styles, a battle between technical brilliance and raw power. It was Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul versus The Miz. The result was a masterclass in athleticism and showmanship. In the end, it was Seth who took the win. But let's face it, we all came to see Logan Paul make a statement, and boy, did he deliver. Now, these are just a few of the triple threats that have graced the WrestleMania stage. There have been many more, each one bringing something unique to the table. Some were about showcasing talent, others about passing the torch, and some were just plain old-fashioned brawls. But no matter what the reason, one thing is for sure, the triple threat has become synonymous with WrestleMania. It's a match type that demands athleticism, charisma, and a whole lot of heart. And the wrestlers who have competed in these matches have always brought their best, giving fans memories that will last a lifetime. Now, what's your favorite WrestleMania triple threat match? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're new here, don't forget to stay tuned for more updates. It's me, and what a night this was. Your host for tonight's show, Roman Reigns, who came out to a huge pop, He came out with the Usos. They did their little dance. Michael Cole put over how important this match was, saying that if Punk had won, he would have been #1 contender for the WWE Championship. Then the bell rings and we are off to the races. Right away, Roman and Seth start jawing at each other. Right away, they're showing why there's bad blood between these two guys. Then Roman takes it to the outside. He goes after Max, and then he comes back in and drop kicks Seth in the face. What a move that was. Seth rolls out to the outside and regroup. Roman follows and he throws him back inside. Now, Roman is in control. This match has barely started, and already the announcers are talking about how this could be the end of the road for the Visionary. That's how dominant Roman is right now. Seth finally gets some offense in when he hits Roman with a boot to the face. Seth starts to take control. He's throwing some vicious kicks at the Tribal Chief. It's amazing to see Seth go from being a heel to a face in the span of just a couple of months. The crowd is fully behind him here. And yes, there were some CM Punk chants. We haven't seen Seth like this in a very long time. He is so fun to cheer for. He just looks so cool doing these high-flying moves against the dominant champion. Then Punk tags himself in. He wants a piece of the action. The crowd goes nuts. The commentators lose their minds. The Usos do not look happy. We've got a new legal person in the match, and the first thing Punk does is clear the announce table. Is he going to go through it? No, he clears it so that later on he can dive off of it. And what a dive it is. He takes out both the Usos and then he sends them back inside. One flying elbow drop from Punk and Jimmy Uso is down. And now Punk goes after Roman. But Roman is able to get out of the way. Here come the numbers. The Usos double-team Punk, but Seth makes the save. He dives off the top rope and takes out both the Usos. What a crazy scene we have here. This is a triple threat match. Wait, no, it's a 6-man tag team match. Then things get crazy when Roman spears Seth. No, not a spear, a Superman punch. That was a big mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. And the Tribal Chief goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. No, Punk breaks it up. This is absolutely insane. Now Roman and Punk are going at it. The Usos are trying to get involved, but Seth is making the saves. This crowd is so into this match. They are loving every second of this. We've still got about 5 minutes left in this match. I can't believe it's already gone on this long. And here comes the most unforgettable climax to any match I've ever seen. Roman looked ready to end it all. He lined up Seth for a spear, but at the last second, Punk pulled him into the Anaconda Vice. The Tribal Chief was locked in the submission, and for a moment, it looked like Roman might actually tap out. The crowd went insane, but Rollins came flying in with a frog splash to break it up. Then came the chaos. Rollins hit Roman with a stomp. Punk hit Rollins with the GTS. All 3 men collapsed in the center of the ring. The crowd chanting, "This is awesome," at the top of their lungs. Finally, as the match reached its peak, Seth went for one last stomp on Punk. But Roman exploded out of nowhere with a Superman punch, followed by a devastating spear. As Roman went for the pin, Punk tried to break it, but he was a second too late. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns retained. The Tribal Chief stood tall. But the story wasn't over, because even in victory, the tension between all 3 men burned hotter than ever. So who's next for Roman Reigns? Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up and a thumbs down if you didn't like it. And make sure to subscribe. The Bloodline stands tall inside the ring as the Usos, Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns surveying the damage done around them. One by one, they helped each other up. They were all bloodied and battered, but together they would stand tall. Reigns turned to the mic and said, "Acknowledge me. Are you going to acknowledge me?" The crowd booed loudly and started to chant, "CM Punk, CM Punk." Then he continued, "I may have to do this myself because apparently these 3 stooges can't do it for me." The crowd erupted when CM Punk's music hit. This was it. As Punk made his way to the ring, we got a quick check-in with our esteemed panel of analysts. "This is what Punk was born for," said one. "He thrives in these chaotic situations. He's going to be a handful for Roman Reigns." added another. And now, here come the numbers. We've got Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, head of the table, Universal Champion. In the red corner, we've got Seth Rollins, the architect, former world champion. And finally, the man who needs no introduction, straight edge, the best in the world, CM Punk. Let the facts speak. The bell rang and instantly chaos filled the ring. Roman charged in with his trademark power. Rollins countered with speed and precision, hitting kicks and strikes from every angle. Punk, the veteran strategist, stayed patient, waiting for his moment to strike. In the opening seconds, alliances formed and broke apart. The fast-paced action left the crowd stunned as Punk and Rollins took down Roman. For a moment, they even teamed up, hitting double shoulder tackles and drop kicks. But Seth turned on Punk in an instant, sending him out of the ring with a super kick. Roman took advantage, slamming Punk into the mat with a thunderous Samoan drop. The match spilled outside the ring. Steel steps, barricades, announce tables, none of it was off limits. Roman sent Punk into the crowd with a powerful clothesline. As the referee tried to hold back Seth, who was going after Punk with a steel chair. Back in the ring, Roman caught Seth off guard with a Superman punch. He climbed the top rope, but Seth followed him and sent him crashing down with a superplex. Both men were down, leaving the door open for Punk. He dove off the top rope with a flying elbow drop, taking out both Roman and Seth. Inside the ring again, Punk nearly had it with a GTS on Rollins, but Roman speared them both at the same time. The crowd gasped as all three superstars were down. Near falls piled up 1, 2, kick out. Each time the tension rose higher. Finally, Punk managed to lock in a GTS on Seth, but before he could make the cover, Roman pulled the referee out of the ring. In the ensuing chaos, Punk hit a second GTS on Seth, but still no pin. As he looked for the third GTS, Roman recovered and hit him with a low blow. The crowd booed loudly. This was a devastating blow, but Punk had seen it coming. He ducked under the second spear attempt and hit a third GTS. This time, there would be no escape. 1, 2, 3. Punk had pinned Seth Rollins, but the story didn't end there. Despite being outnumbered, Punk stood tall, staring down Roman and the Usos. The bloodline surrounded him, but Punk didn't back down. As the numbers seemed to dwindle, we got a surprise return from Kevin Owens. The two allies stared down the bloodline together. It was an uneasy alliance, but it was an alliance nonetheless. In the end, though, it was clear that this night belonged to CM Punk. He had returned and he had made a statement. As the crowd chanted, CM Punk, CM Punk, he raised his fist in the air, the echoes of his theme song still ringing through the arena. Join us next week for more electrifying action. Don't miss a single moment of the journey to WrestleMania. Stay tuned. WrestleMania 41 will go down in history as one of the greatest WrestleMania moments ever. If you haven't seen it, stop what you're doing and go watch it right now. It is 100% worth it. While it may not have been the originally planned match, I promise you this, the match that actually happened was a much better one. The build-up to the match was fantastic. All three superstars did an amazing job of telling their stories and building up to this triple threat match at WrestleMania. We knew that no matter who walked out as champion, this would be a classic. As the match began, it was clear that this wasn't going to be a normal wrestling match. This was a collision of styles, a clash of egos, and a battle for supremacy. From the first lockup, these three warriors were after each other with everything they had. There was no feeling out process here. They went right after each other, and the crowd was eating it up. This wasn't your typical WWE main event. This was something different, something special. As the match progressed, it became clear that any one of these three could walk out as champion. Each man had his moments, his near falls, and his opportunities to seize the title. But each time, somehow, some way, he would fall short. The action was fast-paced and brutal. There were near falls and reversals, and the crowd was on the edge of their seats the entire time. This was a match that could have main-evented any pay-per-view, and the fans knew it. But as the match reached its climax, it became clear that this was more than just a wrestling match. This was a war. These three men were leaving it all in the ring, and the crowd was going wild. It was everything that we hoped it would be and more. The action was non-stop, and the near falls were too close to call. The crowd was on their feet, cheering and chanting as their favorite wrestlers made their comeback. This was a match that we will never forget. And then it happened. In a moment of pure emotion, CM Punk hit the winning move and became the new champion. The crowd went wild. This was a moment that we never thought we would see, and it was absolutely worth the wait. Punk had done it. He had finally won the championship that had eluded him for so long. As Punk stood in the ring with the championship, the crowd chanting his name, we knew that this was a moment that we would never forget. This was a moment that defined WrestleMania 41. This was the moment that CM Punk became the WWE Champion. After the match, both Seth and Roman left the ring devastated, while CM Punk celebrated with the crowd. The fans who once booed him were now cheering him as he made his way to the back. Punk had done it. He had finally won the championship that had eluded him for so long. As the show went off the air, we knew that WrestleMania 41 would never be forgotten. This was the moment that CM Punk became the WWE Champion. So, what do you think about the match? Let me know in the comments below. Was it everything you expected? Did you have a favorite superstar? Let me know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching. See you next time.